Hi, I'm Lou. Another episode of My Car Story. I'm here with Jim Suva Jr.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Good to see you
and,
too.
And we're old buddies from a long time ago. Believe it or not, I used to teach his son martial arts. So, JJ, if you're watching out there in Kuwait, great job, buddy. Couldn't be prouder of you. So, we're talking about your car today. What car did you bring today to the, what is it called? The Indian Uprising. And we're here in St. Charles, Illinois at Pheasant Run Resort. You got to come out and see this show. It's a great show. Jim, what car did you bring?
I brought my 1977 Pontiac Firebird Esprit.
And this car's been in a few different things. Go ahead, let me let you talk about it.
Well, it's actually a Rockford File clone. It's made to look just like the car that James Garner drove in the Rockford Files TV series and in the movies in the 1990s. I bought the car pretty much like it is. It's an original, basic original car. The interior is pretty much 85%, I would say, original. The paint is probably about 65% original. It was originally bought out in Oregon and made its way to Rhode Island, where I bought it from the gentleman there.
Why this car out of all the cars in the world?
Well, back in 1974, this TV show came on. My dad was a big James Garner fan, and he says, "You got to watch the show." So I started watching. I fell in love with the gold Pontiac Firebird. At that time, they were using a 1974 Esprit, which was a car that James Garner himself picked. It wasn't supposed to be a flashy car like a Trans Am or nothing, and it had to be for basically a guy that had trouble meeting his payments and bills. And so that's why they picked the Esprit. But unfortunately in 1974, when they used the Esprit, there's a lot of stunts being done on the TV show. So in 1975, when they got the newer cars, they got formulas with 400 engines because they needed the beefed up suspension so that the car could do more tricks. And James Garner used to do what they call a Rockford, a J-turn. And basically you drive the car about 30 miles an hour in reverse, you hit the parking brake, you flip the car around, and you go in the opposite direction.
And we're going to do that today on the video, right?
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Okay, all right. Come on alongside me. Come on alongside me. Let's take a look at the Rockford File clone. But this is a car, too, in this time frame that people used to have this car.
Oh, yeah.
And even if you didn't have this car, you know, it has such a great look. There's just one of the best grills on this car, and people just wanted to be in it. I mean, it was sporty. I'll show you the car from the side. It was sporty. It had great curves.
Actually, because of the TV show, they actually sold a lot of these Firebirds just because of Garner, what he would drive.
And the rally wheels with the trim. The Firebird Esprit. It had these great color-coded mirrors to the car, the little Firebird emblem to remind you of what it was. I'm going to have you move that for just a second so I can get an overall shot of the back of the car. Let's move that chair for just a second. And there's the tail. The Trans Ams would have the scoop right there, but the Firebirds would. Big doors on the side of the car. You know, when you look at the size of those doors, let me just show it this way. From an overall perspective, it was a large door. There's Jim Garner himself. The mirror. The wonderful dashboard. So now, what was Jim Garner's relation to this car? Because he signed this car.
In 2010, James Garner and Stephen J. Cannell did their last on-camera interviews about the Rockford Files, where they talked about James Garner doing all the stunt driving, or majority of his stunt driving.
Yeah.
So the company that was producing Pioneers of Television wanted to recreate a day on the set of the Rockford Files.
Okay.
And so they hired me to drive my car as Jim Rockford up in Milwaukee, where they're based. So I got a chance to beat Jim Rockford.
That's a nice honor.
I know, it's great. And it turned out to be the last on-camera interview they've ever done. So to me, the car's really special to me.
Yeah.
And
let's open up the hood while we're talking about it. Go ahead.
And about a year later, we did our first Rockford File reunion out in California. And I got a chance to meet John Winokur, who wrote the Garner Files, co-wrote it with James Garner. And so he took my visor and brought it up to Garner's house and had it signed.
Wow.
And then at our
305.
305 Chevy V8, corporate engine, 2-barrel carburetor. And so anyway, at some of the reunions we've held over the past few years, I've had other people that worked on the show, like Roy Clark, his stunt double since Maverick years, and other people have signed advisors for me as a kind of a tribute.
That's pretty cool. So it's the Rockford second car. Let's turn it on real quick and we'll get a little exhaust now. Well, here's the Chevy 305, Pontiac 305. I know it's still a little cool right now. There's where we go. Chugging away. Let me get just a little exhaust note from there.
It's a typical Pontiac explosion sound.
That sounds good. All right, let's shut her down. Come on out, Jim. Let's shut the hood. Stand right next to her. Hey, Jim, always a treat seeing you. Thanks so much for having a great car. And what wonderful fun than this Pontiac show, right?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. And it's nice. It's in an air-conditioned arena, so it's even better. So all you have to do with humidity in the 90-degree weather.
Last question for you. When you're driving this car, what's the reaction of people when they see it?
A lot of thumbs up. A lot of people who watch the show really like it. And they say, Rockford's car, and it's cool. So, and it's always great seeing you too, Lou.
Thank you.
Thanks for putting us on the show. And JJ, if you're watching, love you.
Thanks so much for being on My Car Story.